let me talk about why we think this is a public nuisance. DeMario talked about it a little bit. On May 31st, 1921, the white mobs came in and they murdered, they destroyed, they killed, they looted, they rioted, and a public nuisance was created. After that moment, it continued and continued and continues to this day. We believe that the massacre ignited the nuisance that exists today in Tulsa, specifically North Tulsa, and all of the policies, practices that have been implemented by the defendants have elevated and exacerbated the public nuisance. For example, urban renewal. These policies pushed Black people out of their homes. It made them poorer than their white neighbors. A highway was constructed right over there, cutting North Tulsa away from South Tulsa, taking resources, opportunity. The health disparities that have continued as a result. There's no hospital, by the way, as all of you know, I'm sure, in North Tulsa. That was, I think, it's probably the most profound thing that I recall DeMario talking about, is just that there's no hospital in this vicinity. But there was in 1921, and it has not been rebuilt. And that is a nuisance. There's so many other things that have happened, the educational disparities, all these things are part of the public nuisance that continues today. And because we have a test case, because we have the state and the city of Tulsa who have demonstrated that acts such as these, societal injustices, that they can be remedied through the statute, we believe that we are right on the law in order to equate the societal injustice of the massacre and its continuing harm to this case. Another claim that we have is our unjust enrichment claim. And we believe that we are absolutely right on the law on this. As you can see behind us today, not in this building, but there's a new museum coming up. And the names and the stories and the images of all of these descendants and survivors and their stories are being told, and the people who have suffered are not reaping any of the benefits as a result. There is cultural tourism that is being created in Tulsa, and that's wrong. And people should be compensated if their stories and their images and their likenesses were going to be used without their permission. It's particularly egregious. And so we are asking for our defendants to stop, to give up all of the resources that they have achieved or received as a result of using the likenesses and names and images of survivors and descendants, and giving it back to the people who it belongs to. And so let me also close with this and just tell you what we're asking for. You know, our defendants claim that we are asking to cure society of racism in our claims. It's absurd. We all know that that's not something that's easily overcome, and we're not asking for that. What we're asking for is for the nuisance to be abated. Simple as that. The nuisance is specific here in Tulsa. It is targeted to Tulsa. It is related to the massacre that happened in Tulsa. And we want the remedy to be here for the folks that deserve it. We want a victims' compensation fund. We want the survivors and the descendants to have the opportunity to be compensated for the harm that they have endured for the last 100 years and continue to endure. As I mentioned before, we want a hospital built in North Tulsa. We want educational resources provided back to the community. We want taxes to, the folks who have experienced this in the community, the Black Tulsans who live and endure the continuing harm, to not have to pay any more state and local taxes because they have been denied justice for so long. Their economic justice has been taken from them, And we believe that it is only fair to not have them have to spend their resources to give it back to the state or the city or the county that has taken so much from them.